Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, my sister. So this morning I went to go to yoga. I go to a 6 a.m. 90-minute Bikram yoga class. It's awesome. And I pull up and it's really dark. I'm like, oh, people must be a smaller class because it's the holidays. And then I look into the studio and it's all dark and I go, fuck, there's no class. So I go up to the door and they've got a holiday schedule for the next 2 and a bit weeks. So what do you do when the plan is not the plan? As I walk away from the mic for a second, recording this episode after the class, and my dog Karma walks in. Right on cue for the plan not being the plan. So what do you do? Well, if you're like most people, and you're like me today, first you just get fucking pissed. You push against the reality of what is, which is like, there's no 6 a.m. class, Karen. And for the next couple of weeks, when my plan was like, I'm going to hit a lot of yoga classes, the 6 a.m., 9 a.m. on forward does not work. I have little kids. It's like a 90-minute class. I have to shower afterwards because you're like completely drenched. Like, and get there a little bit early. So, it's like 2.5 hours or so of my time. Like during the holiday time, that just doesn't really work. I mean, I may find a way to make it work, but again, my plan, which was now what happened is I'm going to hit all the 6 a.m. classes because they have us Monday through Friday. So at first you push against reality. Fuck, this sucks. Why did they do this? What kind of a business is this? Namaste. Fuck you. That was my first reaction. And then you have choices, right? You can continue to push against the reality of what is when your plan does not go according to plans. Right? When there's another plan of something that you should be doing, the only way that you're going to see that, sister, is if you open yourself up to that possibility. So I'm driving home. It's only about a 3-minute drive to get to the studio from my home. Driving home, I'm like, hey, what can I do? So I just cranked out 50 push-ups, 100 squats. I'm like, great. What else can I do? I'm like, well, didn't record this podcast episode last night. I wasn't feeling well at all. Like I was feeling incredibly nauseous. I was going to totally skip it today. I'm like, this is open up time for me to record this episode right now before hopefully both boys get up because my eldest boy Tyson already woke up and wanted something to drink. Hopefully back to sleep. So when the plan is not the plan. And listen, this is not and just if with all due respect, I do not come from a religious standpoint. So I know for some of you that do, it'll be like, well, God has a plan. And listen, I have to challenge you on that. Because there are times when I hear people who are very involved in their faith. And again, respect you for that. But sometimes it's more of like, well, let me just put it in his hands. He will show me the way. He will figure it out. And I really don't think my belief of God, a higher source, is not that it's up to somebody else. It's not that it's like you're not responsible for it and there's somebody else that's like pulling the strings, like we're these marionettes moving out throughout life. I believe it's up to you to either listen if you feel that, you get messages from God, God speaks to you. For me, I call it the voice. It's that inner knowing, that inner listening. And if I just go in my world, or a lot of people that I know roll, which is everything happens for a reason. I'm just going to trust everything will work out, which again is lovely. Like I get the whole thing of trust and I say that often, just like you got to trust the process. But here's the caveat that most people don't include in it, whether it's trust the process, everything happens for a reason, or I'll just let God take care of this. You have to do the work. Like you have to put in action. You have to execute. You can't just go, well, here's what I want. I'm going to vision board this bad boy and everything will happen. You have to put action behind that. So that includes when things don't go according to plan, right? When the plan is not the plan, when there's another plan that you were supposed to be doing. And the way for you to see that, the way for it to open up is for things like this to happen, right? There'll be someone who hears this message today that is a result of my yoga class not being the regular 6 a.m. time that really needs to hear this. And maybe it's you, sister. Maybe you're so attached to the way that you want things to work out right now in your life. As I record this right now, it is December the 19th. We're like 6 days away from Christmas. Holidays can be crazy, right? This attachment of how we want things to go. This attachment of how we think our body should be. The attachment of how we think our marriage should be. How our husband should be. Well, how about how we should be? How about the action that we can take to affect the holidays, our health, our marriage? How about that, sister? This is what you do when the plan is not the plan. You figure out another way. You course correct that bad boy. You pivot. You look for the lesson. You know, things that I teach my clients, like a positive focus, which I learned from Garrett J. White from Warrior. And I'll put a reference in the show notes to my recent episode that I recorded that taught how to do this, how to do positive focus. Like, there are lessons and gifts and things for you to see in all of this, sister, but you will never see it if you're so attached to the plan, to the expectations, to the way that you see that it's going to roll. Life doesn't work that way. Like, it works that way every once in a blue fucking moon, where, you know, suddenly all the planets align and Mercury's not in retrograde, or it is, or however the hell that goes, and like things just, we go like, oh, that day was just like perfect. Everything worked out. But that's not a lot of days. A lot of days you're going to get shit thrown at you. A lot of days you're going to get to, like me today, something that you thought was supposed to be going on and it's not. And so what will you do? So here's your more tip for today. What is something right now that you are so attached to in your life? A plan, a way that you see it happening, and it's not. And you are still holding on to that. You are still holding on to that. Here's what I want you to write down into journal. What is it costing you right now for you to be so attached to the plan that is obviously not the plan? What is it costing you right now to not take action, to be stuck in a place of victim and stories, and to not move forward? What is it costing you right now in your life to hold on to that belief that says it must happen this way and no other way? What is that costing you right now? Be real. This is just for you, sister. What is this costing you right now? And here's the second part to that. What is one action step that you can take? I'm not saying you have to be open, but just to begin to be open to the possibility of maybe there's another way. And I want you to take that action step in the next 24 hours. See, things happen with swift action, executing now, not in the new year, not next week, not once the relatives leave your house, in the next 24 hours. Preferably now. Because the 6 women that came through my recent live event acted on now. They didn't act on later, they acted on now. And after 2.5 days of going through my intense Women Wanting More live experience, the event, the more experience, their lives completely changed. They gained power like they never thought possible. So here's what I want you to do, sister. Here's something you can do now. Execute now. Go over to drkarenosborn.com/live event. I want you to enter in your name and email, and you're going to get immediate access to watch the just under 7-minute movie of this live event that happened about 2 months ago. Incredible impact for these women. You're going to get to see the after the event interviews of how these women's lives are still impacted 4, 5, 6 weeks later, and an opportunity to actually apply. If you feel called for this, this is your chance. Right now for the next live event, which is in January, which is in about 4 weeks, there are currently 3 spots left. That's it. This is a very small, intimate event. This is your time. This might not be the plan that you had, but maybe the plan that you're so holding on to is not the plan of how things are supposed to be in your life. And the purpose of this live event is for you to get really clear on what you want, on why you want what you want. and the practical tools to actually get that. So when you head over to drkarenosborn.com/live event, you'll have a chance to actually watch the movie, see all the interviews, see all the information, and actually click on the button, fill out an application, and then you and I will talk within the next 4 to 8 hours. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.